issue. So I'm driving right now in Bowling Green, Kentucky, probably going about 15 miles an hour with all the snow and this winter storm. So anyways, I thought it'd be great to make a YouTube video. So everything that's going on in Minnesota is bonkers, just like Tim Walz. So Tim Walz wants there to be civil discourse, and he's sending protesters out to do it. And he's saying that, of course, these local law enforcement that are standing down are the heroes, and the ICE agents who are putting their lives on the line, fulfilling these missions, are not even law enforcement, edging on the citizens and the protesters to essentially harm and to get ICE out of their state. So the president may evoke the Insurrection Act, which would involve the federal ICE agents still continuing to be there, but also will allow federal troops to come in, which is the U.S. military, and there would be more of like a police state in Minnesota and Minneapolis while the whole situation is being tamed down. Because what they're talking about and what they're worried about is that ICE agents have no support with local law enforcement. So the local law enforcement is just letting protesters bite off fingers of ICE agents. And last I checked, that is not a peaceful protest. So it is unconstitutional to let protests get out of hand. A peaceful protest is constitutional. The moment it crosses the line, it stops becoming constitutional. And then the president or the National Guard or whomsoever needs to keep the protests down can do it in a way that is also constitutional. So this guy who is a nurse, which should never be a man's career choice, goes to this, I was going to say protest, but it's turned into a riot, but let's just call it a protest, with a gun that has 2 extra magazines. And there's photos all over the internet of him with the gun in his hand. It took about 8 ICE officers to get him on the ground. But, they tell him to relinquish his weapon, and he doesn't do it. So not only was he resisting arrest, he was also not relinquishing his weapon. And it's so subtle that you take these people who are militant against ICE, who are bringing weapons, who, like the good girl who tried running down an ICE officer with her car, which is also a weapon. They don't have protection of federal laws because they are not abiding by the laws. The laws are the peaceful protests, and they're not peacefully protesting. So, they talk about civil war in this country all the time. Someone like Tim Walz, who says ICE agents are not federal officers and they do not have federal jurisdiction in his zone. It's just bonkers because they are. And then you get these mad, angry protesters who are becoming violent and who are agitating them and preventing them from doing their job. Yeah, of course there's going to be chaos. So we'll see if the Insurrection Act is going to be invoked within the next 48 hours. Anyway, some of you guys know what you think. See ya.